Okay, it's time for our final fact of the show, and that is Andy.
My fact is that ancient British fruit varieties include the hen's turd apple and the bloody bastard pear. So, this is just about amusing names of fruit.
It doesn't get much more amusing than that, Andy, does it?
No, there are hundreds of varieties of apple and pear and other fruits which have kind of gone out. So, for example, one ancient one is called the shit smock plum, which apparently has a laxative effect if you eat too many of them.
I believe the bloody bastard pear also has a laxative effect, and I think that's where
so?
that got the name as well.
Oh.
Wait, so how does that...
I think you're on the toilet and you go, bloody bastard!
It doesn't create bloody stool or anything. That sounds like you shouldn't be... Well, it just sounded like that was what you were suggesting.
Yeah, no, I wasn't intending to suggest that.
Well, that's a relief, because I've just eaten 7.
They are inedible. Can I just say, if you go to the shops and see a bloody bastard pear, do not eat it. They are inedible. They're
Irresponsible for them to be selling it.
They are. There's a load of pears in the UK which are inedible pears, but they used to make perry. They used to make alcohol. So perry is the pear version of cider, and bloody bastard is one of the ones that's used to make this, but you can't eat them because they'll give you the shits.
Right.
And similarly, in fact, with a cider apple, I don't know why so many of these fruits have this effect. There's a cider apple called Slack McGirdle, which is, again, a reference to the fact that you're going to have to drop your trousers once you've eaten this guy.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. Can I give you some funny names of apples and pears just for fun?
Yes.
Yeah.
So I was looking for the bloody bastard pear, and it's enshrined in UK legislation. So they have certain apples and pears that are able to be used to make cider or perry. It's by the Apple and Pear Research Council Order of 1989. And there's a big long list of them, and the apples include Ball's Bittersweet, Bloody Turk, Crummy Norman, and as Anna says, Slack My Girdle.
Yeah.
And perry pears include Bastard Sack, Clipper Dick, Golden Balls, Hairy Knob, and Margaret. And they're all official fruits that you should use to make cider or perry.
I love
They
it.
also have, on that government list, they have the startlecock pear, which is, and now I think people can now guess, because there's been a patent, why it's called the startlecock.
Is it like a Viagra, a natural Viagra?
It's not that. That's one of the things it could have been, you're right.
Does it fall to... do the fruits fall from the tree to the ground shortly before dawn, waking up cockerels?
What a sweet and wholesome explanation. No, it's because it's a diuretic, so your cock is literally startled into urinating when you eat it, apparently.
Okay.
Or when you drink the cider, I suppose.
Gosh.
Yep.
You know, you say, oh gosh, my cock's a bit startled.
I've never heard anyone say that.
I think that's a new phrase that we're going to bring into the lexicon, isn't it?
Yeah.
Whenever you need to go to the bathroom, it's a polite way of saying I want to go to the little boy's room or little girl's room. Just say, oops, my cock's been startled. I'll be back in a minute.
So naming apples happens today as well, though. So there are new name varieties. Have you guys been reading about the Cosmic Crisp?
No.
Okay, so this is a new apple that was launched last year with a $10 million marketing budget. It's basically... It's the one of the biggest Apple launches that has not been of an Apple
What is
iPhone.
it called again?
It's called the Cosmic Crisp. And it's got PR people who have said it's enormously crunchy and wipe your face juicy.
Are you under the thumb of Big Apple?
I'm not. But I find so normally apples get launched with a bit of fanfare, but this is an unusual apple. So it's got taglines which include the apple of big dreams and imagine the possibilities. They've hired an ex-astronaut called Leroy Chow to be a social influencer plugging the apple.
Wow.
Its actual name is WA38, and it was patented by Washington State University. They developed it, and so this has been launched as a thing. Sorry, this is all sounding a bit #spawn, but...
It is, and I'm just feeling sorry for the career of Leroy Chow, which has clearly taken a dip since his astronaut days.
I think he was a commander on the ISS.
Well, now he's flogging apples.
I know. But anyway, because you can patent an apple, every time someone buys one of these, a bit of the money goes to Washington State University because they were the people who crossbred it.
Wow.
Yeah,
It's a really
weird.
controversial thing, isn't it? Being able to patent fruits and seeds
Yeah.
and stuff. And some people think it's really important because then you get more varieties, which helps, feed people. But then other people think, well, how can you patent an apple?
Yeah.
I'm not saying which side of the argument I come on, but
No, but
So yeah, we used to have lots more varieties of apples and pears than we do today, but it seems like they're making a bit of a comeback. This fact suggests people are getting more interest in these quirky new varieties, and especially you mentioned Perry, pear cider. So Perry is also making a comeback. So all these different types of pear are starting to be bred again, and most of the pear cider that you get in pubs, I didn't know this, most of the pear cider that you order, like a basic pear cider, is just apple cider, and they've put pear flavouring into it.
no.
Yeah.
wow.
And it's only the
that true?
Yeah. Isn't that weird?
Scandal.
Unless you're getting nice, proper, expensive Perry or whatever, or you're going to Devon for it.
I feel like I've been really ripped off by that.
I'm so sorry.
I'll be honest, I'm not sure I've ever bought it, but I still am furious. That's amazing. And one thing that I have drank, which is definitely Perry, I think, is Baby Sham, right?
Yes. Yes.
Baby Sham is Perry. And that's definitely made of pears, I think.
That's made of pear, Baby Sham, you're right. But the Perry industry is a bit annoyed about Baby Sham because it doesn't have a massively highbrow reputation. And they want Perry to. And one of the people who's trying to rejuvenate Perry's reputation is the kind of leading pear cider bloke in the world, I'm going to call him. He's called Tom Oliver. So he's staging this big comeback. He's an award-winning Herefordshire cider maker. And his other job is being tour manager of the Proclaimers.
Wow.
It's pretty weird. Just two pretty weird
It's
jobs.
amazing, isn't it, that these people who had such amazing jobs like astronaut and tour manager of the Proclaimers would then go into fruit.
Yeah. It's where
That's
it's at.
wicked. Hey, I found that in Italy, 275 meters below the surface of the Earth are 10,000 tons of apples.
Wait,
What?
Yeah.
What are they doing there, Dan?
So this is a way. Okay, so something that is well known is that apples that you eat are often not freshly picked. They're kept for a year or so in storage facilities to be able to make them last longer. So you can pick them and you can put them in storage. And they do that by reducing the oxygen right down to 1% basically. So in Italy, what they've done is they've taken over these old mines it's throughout the Dolomites in the Italian mountains, and underneath it they've converted these mines into giant refrigerators where they're stocking up to, they say, 20,000 tons of apples. So at any given time there must be a different amount. But yeah, if you visit there,
That is amazing.
yeah,
Wow.
they say that this is what the article said. When compared to a standard above-ground storage space, the savings by having them underground are equal to 10 Olympic swimming pools of water being saved a day and 10 hectares of land.
Wow.
Wow.
Yeah, so that's why they do it. But
Okay.
yeah, there's a lot of apples underground in Italy.
God, every time I bite into an apple now, I'll reflect more on what an adventure it's been on to get here through the bowels of the earth. I found some other fun fruit names actually. There was a good article on BBC Future about how, again, we've lost our passion for these smaller scale fruit varieties. And this article was saying that fist fights used to break out over which tomatoes were better, those grown in Mississippi or those grown in New Orleans. And now only dedicated foodies know of Lee's Golden Girl tomato and Radiator Charlie's Mortgage Lifter tomato. Back in the
Radiator
day.
Charlie's mortgage lifter.
That's right, Radiator Charlie's Mortgage Lifter tomato.
Wow.
You can still get it.
It just sounds like you've put four random words together.
Was it supposedly so good that it would allow him to pay off his mortgage?
It was exactly that. It was thought that any
Wow.
seller of it would be able to pay
That's
off their
brilliant.
debts.
And he must have had quite a big house with all those radiators in it.
There are some people who are devoted to finding these old fruits. They're often detectives as well. So there's a guy called David Benscotter who worked for the FBI and then started tracking down apples, ancient
Again,
apples after.
head of the FBI or whatever becomes an apple detective.
I know.
What is going on?
There's David Karp, who was a Wall Street trader and a Latin translator, and he only got into fruits to impress a woman, and she wasn't impressed, but he just kept detecting fruits for the rest of his career. John Bunker, the apple whisperer, He is amazing. He's an American guy.
Come on, it's much easier to be an apple whisperer and tame an apple than it is to be a Robert Redford style horse whisperer, isn't it? But go on.
Well, he's tracked down 100 varieties and saved them from extinction. And when you think about it, it must be incredibly hard because you know maybe where an apple was last grown, but you have to comb through historical records for what these apples look like, for drawings of them, for the taste. And he will study these records, and he will sometimes go to towns or villages where they were last seen, and he will put up wanted signs.
I swear to God.
This is.
He does.
Have you seen this apple?
Yeah, he will put up a sign saying, "Wanted, alive, Narragansett apple, last seen in York County,
Jesus
originated
Christ.
on this farm." And he works miracles with these things. So he once went to a place and he said, "Have you seen this apple?" And an old man said, "I know a related apple, which was also extinct." And this old man said, "I used to eat from this tree when I was a boy." And the tree was almost completely dead. There was one 2-inch wide strip of living tissue, and there was one branch, right? And he took a